fucking go, man. I'm sorry, guys. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute, alright? Let me grieve. This chapter saw the end to a character in One Piece, and he might have not have been with us for very long, but and I might have not even have talked about him that much, but he mattered to me, damn it. So let's all take a moment of silence for the hero of Totland, Sparrow. I'm sorry. I know. I everything I said, man, it was just a ruse. I liked your design. I don't think you're a pedophile. I think you get all the ladies with that tongue, man. This series will never be the same. Why? Alright, grieving period's over. Hey everybody, Tekking101 here, here to review One Piece, chapter 877, titled, I'm Not That Sweet. The cover page this week continues on from Sai, member of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, and it's a little bit awkward. You know, last week I joked about it being like part of a sitcom, you know, like Sai and Baby 5 living in Kano. Well, the first thing after Sai, you know, gets back to the Kano Kingdom is sort of kind of like sitcom-y, where he runs into like his old flame, or his old, you know, I guess in this case his fiance. I don't know, it would have been important, maybe Sai would have mentioned her. Her name's Uho-Licia, or Ulicia, I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, she's this rather muscular woman that lives in the Kano Kingdom, and I guess they were all ready to get married, Sai and her. So the first thing after Sai gets back, you know, Baby 5 is like clinging onto his arm, and she, you know, she's sitting there like, oh, Sai, baby, yes, when do you think the wedding ceremony, what date are we doing that, baby? And Sai's just sitting there like, all right, I got something to tell you there, Alicia, you know. I don't know how this is gonna go. I'm thinking death match between Alicia and Baby 5. And you know the Kano Kingdom has got some sort of arena. You always have to have an arena. Amazon Lily had an arena. Dressrosa had an arena. You know the Kano Kingdom's got an arena. So Baby 5 versus Alicia. I want to see this. That's where this is going. It's fine. You know, you gotta feel something for Sai, though, because Sai, he doesn't really, like, genuinely love Baby 5. He was literally, like, coerced into asking for her hand in marriage when she was literally about to shoot herself in the face. It was more of just like, oh, please don't shoot yourself! We'll get married! Like, really? Sure! I mean, I'm not complaining. Baby 5's pretty cute. I'm just saying, Sai is more of just a spectator in all this. He's not really involved. He's just watching this wild ride unfold as it goes. Okay, anyway. Right, so we cut to the actual chapter where we see the Thousand Sunny, and if you remember correctly, Chopper and Brook are fighting pretty much an endless army of chess soldiers that are coming out of the mirror in Nami's room on the Sunny. Now, they've taken out quite a bit of them, and even Katakuri, like, commended their... He's like, oh, wow, you guys took out a lot of them. But remember, there's like 10,000 chess soldiers. You know, Big Mom's just churning these guys out on a freaking conveyor belt. They're homies. They're, you know, created with other people's souls. So there's like an endless supply of these chess soldiers just hopping out of the mirror like, oh, bop, 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 bop. So it's just war of attrition. You know, they're going to exhaust themselves eventually, and that seems to be what's happening here. And while they're in this exhausted state, I guess now Sparrow decides to take the stage using his devil fruit, the Lick no Mi, which allows him to manipulate candy. You know, it's called the Lick, but it actually has more to do with candy creation than, I mean, I guess he could lick you, and that would probably have like a paralyzing effect like in Pokemon, but it's mostly candy creation. He starts coating Chopper in a layer of candy, like this viscous substance that begins to encroach on his entire body. It starts to happen with Brook too, but Chopper's almost completely covered, and he's stated to the point that he can't even transform. He can't move a muscle while in this form. The candy is like immobilizing him. You know how like in certain like lollipops, you get like things inside the lollipops? Like I swear to God, one time I saw a lollipop that had like a scorpion inside, inside, like embedded in the actual lollipop. Like, you'd be licking it, and like eventually, you know, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a scorpion pop? Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's his deal, entrapping them in candy, and then he'll lick them to death. He states that the candy will literally seep into your skin, turning you into literal candy, and I guess he implies that he's going to literally either eat you or just lick you to the point where you'll dissolve. So, yeah, kind of a crazy ability there. I don't know why it took him this long to use it. Maybe he has pride in his ability as the Candyman, and he's like, you know, I'm the first son of the... Oh, holy shit, why didn't I think to use that? I had this on standby the whole time. Man, I do not prepare for these videos at all. I need to get my head in the game. Yeah, right. So it's like, I am the first son of the Big Mom Pirates. Yes, I shall not use all my godly candy powers on the likes of you freaking, you know, anthropomorphic reindeer, and what is it, freaking skeleton musician, you know? But I guess at this point, you know, Big Mom's approaching, the other chess soldiers are wiped out. I guess he finally decided to break out the big guns, you know? So he starts coating them all in candy. Chopper actually looks like he's in a fair amount of pain right now. Sparrow even states, you know, it's literally seeping into your mouth and it will take your breath away. Your lungs are being coated with caramel, for God's sake. That is a horrible way to go out. You know? Screw that movie, The Candyman. Sparrow is the real Candyman, you know what I mean? Right, so meanwhile, you just have Katakuri just chilling out on the side of the Sunny, you know? It's, you know, Brooke and Chopper's favorite screams are above him, like, no, I don't want to get turned into a candy bar! And then meanwhile, Katakuri's just sitting there like, just what's going on? Looks over at the forest, and he notices, you know, Big Mom's a-coming, and he's like, we gotta make sure to send Big Mom over to Cacao Island with the cake, and Sparrow's like, yeah, we need to do that, because the second that Big Mom realizes that the cake's not here, I'm dead. Remember, Sparrow was the one that, you know, he came up with an idea really quick-witted. He was just like, ah, yes, Mama, the cake that you're looking for, yes, the Straw Hats have it. And so Big Mom, even in her state of, like, craziness, like, I want food, she still had enough wherewithal to, like, threaten Sparrow, like, right to his face. It's like, I want cake! You better not be lying to me, you little candy bastard. Cake! You know, and so Sparrow is a little bit genuinely concerned for his life right now. As he should. Her shouts are approaching, which they expected, but the thing they didn't expect is for the Straw Hats to still be alive. See, they still think that big lightning crash down that happened with Nami and Zeus, they think that was Big Mom killing, you know, Luffy and the other Straw Hats and Jinbei and everybody. So imagine their surprise when out of the seducing woods comes the entire, you know, Jinbei, Luffy, Nami, everybody's running their freaking, their legs off, escaping Big Mom, and then she bursts out of it too. So they're still pretty surprised that he's alive. Meanwhile, you cut back over to Chopper and Brooke. Brooke is now completely coated in candy, and it's just like tick-tock, tick-tock, like they're counting the seconds until they die. It's kind of like back when Mr. 3 was having his giant candle, you know, service thing, and it was coating Vivi and Mr. Bushido and Nami. You remember that? You know, and they were just sitting there being coated in it. That always like did disturb me, because it's like the wax is like you're inhaling the wax and your insides are being coated in it, and it was like hard to breathe, which didn't make a lot of sense to me whenever like they set the thing, like Usopp sets the candle thing on fire and it burns away the wax and they get freed, and I'm just sitting there like, yeah, but you still inhaled a good amount of wax dust into your lungs. You know, you probably all have like cancer right now, wax cancer. Oh, but hey, that's a good parallel, because it's kind of the same deal that we're gonna see here with Sparrow in a second, how like Galdino's wax was stronger than normal wax. It was like as hard as steel or something like that, but it still had the qualities of wax, therefore you heat it up, it's gonna melt. So that was the case with that. Same thing with Sparrow's candy. It's much thicker than your ordinary candy, you know. It's not just like, you know, these, you can throw up a candy wall, it's gonna like shatter if you just tap it like normal candy would, like glass candy. It's actually pretty durable, and it can be, you know, used to deal with some serious heavy damage, but at the end of the day, it's still candy. Water will dissolve it, fire will melt it, as we're going to see here. So with that being the case and Big Mom being on the scene, everybody, you know, is like, retreat, get back in the mirror, order a retreat. So all the chess soldiers, all the other homies, they jump back through the mirror into the mirror world, basically leaving just Katakuri and Sparrow on the ship to deal with the Straw Hats and also trying to get Big Mom over to Cacao Island. Sparrow throws up a candy maiden, which is like a giant iron maiden made of solid candy, and this is what I mean when I say that it can be, you know, destroyed the same way that you can destroy normal candy. So they're running towards the damn thing, this giant spiked, you know, torture device, and it's Jinbei's the one that says, you know, just run around the damn thing. Don't try to fight it head on. And Luffy's just like, oh wait, no, I got this. Luffy breaks out Red Hawk, a fire move, and then just punches, and it goes right through the freaking thing and begins to melt the candy. Luffy's not damaged in the slightest. All the spikes, you know, melt as well. So, yeah, that's basically how you get over it. Either that, I guess water would work as well, to get through Sparrow's candy. That leaves Luffy set up to fight against Katakuri directly, to which he uses his Mochi Mochi no Mi to stretch out his arm and clash with Luffy there. Now, I made an entire video discussing this one scene with, you know, Katakuri using the Mochi Mochi no Mi, and you have Carrot on the sidelines stating, wow, that's a very similar ability to Luffy's Gomu Gomu no Mi, allows his body to stretch. So I would really highly recommend you go watch that video up here, just to get the full, you know, my full explanation on this, like, special Paramecia class. There are a few things, though, just from, like, that video when people are talking about, is, you know how a lot of devil fruits have, like, a superior version, like you have Mr. One's, you know, Super no Mi that allows him to summon, you know, bladed weaponry and swords and shit, and then you have Baby Five's Buki no Mi that allows her to do the same thing, but she can also summon cannons and missiles and guns and flamethrowers, and she can do any weapon, not just bladed weapons. Then you have, like, the Kilo no Mi that Miss Valentine had, and then, oh, by the way, it's Miss Valentine, not Miss Valentine's Day. Yeah, I'm correct on that freaking front. But yeah, the Kilo no Mi, Miss Valentine, and then you have the Tun fruit by Mach Vice. So there's, like, superior versions. Maybe it goes Gomu Gomu no Mi, that's the base, and then you have the Mochi Mochi no Mi. Both are Paramecia, and one is the superior to the other, and Katakuri has the more superior version, because on top of stretching out his body like Mochi, he can also fire off projectiles. He can also, actually has free-form control of his body using Mochi itself. He is the sticky aspect as well, not only just stretching out his body and hitting opponents, he can also trap them in his sticky motion, Mochi gum kind of goo stuff. So that's another way of looking at it. It might be the superior, you know, tier higher than Luffy. That doesn't mean that it's immediately going to be like he's stronger than Luffy. It just means that he has, like, a natural advantage. Same thing with Ace and Akainu. You know, Ace was fire, Akainu was magma. Therefore, just by default, magma's hotter than fire. Even though there's some cases where that might not actually be the case. I don't know, I'm not a freaking physicist, or a chemist, whatever that falls under the purview of, but the point is, you know, that's like a natural weakness, but you could still get stronger than that other form. It just means that you kind of have, like, an uphill battle. You know, to compare it with something, it's like Avatar: The Last Airbender, you know, like, a waterbender seemingly has the upper hand against a firebender just by natural, you know, element matchup, but that doesn't mean that a firebender is always going to lose to a waterbender, okay? Or a waterbender is always going to win. You know, it depends on their individual strengths and stuff like that. So that's the deal there. Once again, I would go watch that video I did about Katakuri's special Paramecia class and everything. So, yes. So, right, Katakuri and Luffy clash there. That's pretty badass. You know, Luffy, you know, kind of gets knocked back, and they're really running out of space here because they're on the coast. The Sunny's right in front of them. Then it's open ocean. You know, they can't just jump in the water. Big Mom's, like, right behind them, like, right on their ass, about to stomp on them. So, Luffy gets a little desperate. That's when he breaks out Hawk Gatling, which, if we're going with the logic here, like I said in the naming scheme, Hawk Gatling does include hockey. So he's slamming into Katakuri with hockey, and it seems like his head is being turned into Mochi, but it just seems a little bit off to the side. You know, we don't know how that is. You know, it's not like a straight up, like we don't see a hole being punched in Katakuri's face. You know, that would be one thing if we saw that. All we see from this panel is his head is moving a little bit to the right, and then this area right here is turning into Mochi. Hell, his scarf, his, like, muffler thing that he wears, hell, that might actually be made out of Mochi for all we know, and Luffy's just splattering that. We don't know. It doesn't seem like he's hitting his head directly on. Then we cut over to Pedro and Carrot. And Pedro's kind of having, like, even amidst all this, like, craziness going on, and they're in, you know, like, they're in a serious situation, Pedro kind of goes up to Carrot and tells her, you know, I don't want to take you by surprise or anything. But the people that the Kozuki and our ancestors on Zou, our mink ancestors, have been waiting for so long, we've been waiting for the dawn of a new world. I'm starting to think it's these group of people, it's Straw Hat Luffy that's going to bring about the dawn of this new world. And so you have this little emotional moment from Pedro there. Don't know why they would throw that in, but whatever. Anyway, remember, back on Zou, Neko Mamushi, who was, the leader of the Nocturne fighters, and the Guardians of the Forest and everything like that, his title was, he calls himself the man who waits for the dawn of this world. Now, at first we thought, well, he's a cat, he's operating at night, so therefore he's always waiting for the dawn of the world, because that's his purview. That's when his power to reign over Zou ends, and that's when Inuarashi takes over, right? So that's what we thought at first. But now they're talking about, the waiting, the new dawn and everything like that seems to take on another meaning. And remember, Pedro was a guardian. He worked under Neko Mamushi. So yeah, that seems to connect back and forth there, that the Minks and Zou have been part of this whole thing involving the Void Century and waiting for hundreds of years. Maybe they're even a connection similar to how Joy Boy has a connection or something like that. Not to say that Joy Boy had a direct connection to Zou and the Minks. I'm just saying that, if Joy Boy was somebody that lived, back during the day of the Void Century, maybe there was a mink or a group of minks, maybe Neko Mamushi and Inurashi's ancestors that lived back during the Void Century, and then they had a dealing, maybe something involving the same thing that Joy Boy had, and it's just carried down this will through the ages on Zou. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if one of the minks has the will of D and we just don't know about it yet, because Oda's always kind of iffy about that. Don't always expect when a character gets introduced we're going to see their full name. Law is the perfect example of that. Trafalgar Law shows up, he gets the info card and everything back on Sabaody, and it's like, oh, okay, well, whatever, he's just a pirate from the North Blue, okay. It isn't until much later that we find out, no, his full name is Trafalgar D. Watcher Law. So I would say I wouldn't even be surprised if fucking Pedro has it, to be honest with you. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's I don't know, we next chapter, we cut back over to Zou, and you see Neko Mamushi speaking with somebody, and he mentions, Pedro D. Jaguar. I don't know what his last name would be, but you know what I mean. I wouldn't be surprised if he has it, to be honest with you. But yeah, Carrot is a little bit shocked by this, probably in part for why he's bringing this up now. But Carrot doesn't seem like she knows about it at all. She's just for hundreds of years, she doesn't seem to know about the legend very much. I'm sure Neko Mamushi and Inurashi know, and Pedro knows because he's part of their private army. But it's interesting on not every mink knows about this. So we cut back over to Perospero. He's now speaking over at Den Mushi to Montedor and Tamago and everybody, and they're make sure you surround the whole freaking area with battleships just in case they get away. We got to make sure that's protected. We cut on to the Sunny. Now, Nami and everybody made it onto the Sunny. Jinbei's with them, and Nami's explaining the Kude burst to Jinbei, and it's funny. Jinbei's like, Kude, whatchamacallit? No, it's this thing. This ship is awesome. We have a cyborg who's a pervert who designed it, whatever. You get a bunch of cola, all the cola. You mean that stuff you drink? Yeah, that carbonated beverage. Then you hook it up to the pump downstairs, and the rear thrusters fire us a kilometer away. And Jinbei's just sitting there thinking, yeah, Jinbei is like, all right, I'll help you. But he's probably just thinking oh my god, this fucking ship is awesome. I can't wait to join this crew. All right, let's go get your carbonated beverage. Let's go hook up some Sprite. It's actually more like Pepsi. Whatever, let's get this. So they go to start, firing up the Kude burst, which is what I figured. I mean, you got to get some space in between you and Big Mom. Now, they're trying to go from to Whole Cake Island to Cacao Island, right? We don't know how far those islands are, but they're a fair distance. The Kude burst only gets you a kilometer away. I think they're just going to do it just to get some space in between Big Mom, because she's right on your tail. And once Big Mom hops on Zeus, which she's going to have to do, because that's the only way that I can think she can get over open ocean. She hops on Zeus. Yeah, she'll probably be able to catch up to the Straw Hat's ship rather quickly, but just to get some initial, space between you and the bitch, as well as all the other, battleships that are probably immediately surrounding. The battleships are all coming towards Whole Cake Island, and you do a Kude burst. It's like, fling! And it's like, oh shit, turn around, So, yeah, I think the Kude burst is the good move there. You have Big Mom finally arriving at the ship, I found you. And then you see Chopper and Brook, and they're freaking out because the time's running out there. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Nami's throwing the freaking barrels in there, but are we going to make it? Are we going to get there right? Katakuri's smacking into Luffy. Holy crap, what's going on? Then you have Pedro. he decides to take up the freaking reins. He starts clashing with Sparrow, right? And he does some sword swings. Sparrow's, whipping his freaking candy cane shit around like a lightsaber. And Pedro, he doesn't win. He doesn't win. He gets knocked down, actually, fairly quick. He gets knocked down on the ground. And so then you even have a moment where Sparrow's, gloating over Pedro's defeated form. He just kind of, like, takes out the thing, and he's just like, ha ha ha! Could you seriously think that you could defeat me? I am the Candyman. I am a perfectionist. I am the first son of the Charlotte family. And I'm also a pirate with 700 million bounty. 700 million berry bounty. Son of a bitch. He has more than freaking Sabo. Sabo's bounty was revealed, by the way, 602 million. I really should make a video about that. But yeah, just keep in mind, this guy, more bounty than this guy. Although, to be fair, I don't know if that includes Sabo after he got the Maramara Nomi, so there might want to be a new, correction on that. But yeah, Sparrow's just blabbing about his bounty like, it's a big freaking deal. Because we all know bounty is not indicative directly of your strength. And so Pedro, on the other hand, though, he planned this. He has everything in his freaking grasp right now. He rips off his shirt, dynamite belt, ready to go. Remember, Pedro has been kind of a fan of the dynamite. Explosives have kind of been his thing. I just realized he is a jaguar with dynamite. That is terrifying. The only thing I can think of more terrifying than that is a hammerhead shark with a missile launcher on its back. But jaguar with a whole string of dynamite, and that's pretty terrifying too. Rips off his shirt, reveals the explosion. Sparrow's like, and so he's just like, oh, well, this will put an end to your freaking spells, right? He's like, but I have a bounty of 700 million. Yeah, let's see how that bounty does in freaking hell. See how that piece of paper protects you from this. Good riddance. Takes out his cigarette like a baller. Shing, boom! And just blows his ass up. The resulting explosion frees the Thousand Sunny, which was trapped inside Sparrow's candy. Carrot's looking on. Like, she gets front row seats to this. And a lot of people have been saying, a reason why Carrot cannot join the crew is, like, Carrot doesn't have anything tragic in her past. And I'm sitting there thinking, not every Straw Hat has, like, a super, super depressing backstory. Like, Robin, Brooke, yeah, they have depressing backstories, but, Usopp's backstory's not really that depressing. It's just his dad left, but his dad's still alive. His mom passed away, sure. But it's not that depressing, he's still a member of the crew. I thought, Carrot, having just the desire to go out to sea, that was something that could be her dream, to see the world and everything like that. But hey, she's got something to go on now. We're making history as we go about now. Witnessing Pedro, a member of her own race that she probably knew fairly well, because they're all like one big family, really, and just, telling, like, kind of like Pedro's passing the will down to Carrot a little bit. I'm maybe reading a little bit too much into this, because Carrot didn't seem to know about it. All of a sudden, Pedro's like, you got to understand about the dawn of the new era that our family's been waiting for hundreds of years. He might be the one to guide us. And then Carrot's like, wait, what? And then all of a sudden, he just, okay, well, I've imparted that onto you. Later. So, I don't know. I think Carrot could join the crew. And by the way, we brought this up. Me and a bunch of other anime reviewers did this really big live stream a few days ago. I'll put that link to that up here in the card as well. The gathering, the reverie, the gathering of the Yonko and the Supernovas. I'm a Yonko, in case you're wondering. I mean, I'm just saying, not bragging or anything. But anyway, yeah, we did this big live stream, and at one point in the live stream, somebody mentioned, like, Carrot, like, what are they going to do with Carrot now? Like, Pedro had a legitimate reason for going with the Straw Hats. This was his swan song. This was his, I'm gonna bring vengeance for the Nox pirates that died. I'm gonna bring vengeance for my pal Zeppo. I have things in my life that I need to repay debts. I need to freaking settle shit once and for all, and I'm gonna do it now. So when Pedro left Zoe and went with the Straw Hats to Tauntland, he knew he wasn't coming back. Alright, this was his final journey. Carrot was just kind of there because, hey guys, I'm Carrot. I'm a bunny mink. I'm just along for the ride. And we got to know her fairly well. That we've had some moments with her in this arc that was kind of nice. But at this point, what are you gonna do? Well, after this arc, the Straw Hats are gonna go to Wano, and Carrot's probably gonna be along for the ride there for Wano. But what? I mean, they're not gonna double back to Zoe. At least I don't think they are. They're not gonna, oh, before we go to Wano, let's go back to Zoe first, drop Carrot off, and the little remains of Pedro. It was like, here's just a body bag full of the charred remains of Pedro. And like, all right, later, going to Wano. You know what? I wouldn't care to join the crew. I mean, like I said, we've had so long. It's like 380-something chapters since the last member of the crew has joined, since Brook. Let's get Jinbei, and let's get Carrot, and let's just make this a team of 11, and let's just go to Wano. Let's just make it official, okay? I'm fine with that. Maybe you're not, but that's just what I personally would prefer, okay? But yeah, and one more thing before I go is we don't really see a body. We don't really know. Pedro, blows himself up, and it's a pretty sizable explosion. Considering the fact, maybe someone that's into explosives can explain, but the level of just like the strands of dynamite that he had on his person, would that be big enough to, like, how much gunpowder would you need to cause an explosion this damn big? Like, it dwarfs the Sunny. It's a huge freaking explosion. So, I don't know what the hell you load in that crap with, like, antimatter or whatever, but boom! But I'm saying you better not pull a Pell here. And pulling a Pell is, Pell was dragging that big-ass nuclear bomb away that could detonate and blow up an entire city, and he came out of it with pretty much nothing more than just a kind of a badass scar on his side. Now, I made a video about that, too, discussing that Pell is a falcon, and like the fastest animal in our world is a peregrine falcon, which can go, over 200 miles an hour dive bombing. So that you might be able to equate that a little bit with how Pell survived that explosion, and it happened in midair. This is happening on the coastline, and it's just like, there's really nothing. I mean, Jaguars are pretty fast and everything, but it's very clear that he detonated this shit while he was wearing it, so you're not gonna be able to outrun this. I just hope it doesn't, like, next, like, few chapters we find out, oh yeah, he's alive this whole time. He shows up, he's missing an arm or something, like, I survived, like, please don't do that, please don't. But we might find out some more stuff about Pedro after, like, post-mortem, after he's dead, and we might see Carrot and Jinbei joining the crew. I think Jinbei's set in stone, but Carrot's kind of, like, still debatable. We need another girl, by the way. Oh, come on now. It's like, we'd have, if Jinbei joins, we'd have, like, 8 dudes and 2 girls. Come on, let's get something out here. Let's get something else going on. So, let's get a guy and a girl added in, she's a furry, sure, but whatever. She's cute. I mean, you can't look at Carrot and say she's not cute. I'm not a furry, by the way. I am not a furry, just letting you know. And so that'll be this chapter review. Thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Tekking101 signing out. Later.